Welcome to, well, wait a minute. Should I say welcome to, or should I just say, I told you so? No, let me stop, guys. Shout out to all my supporters out there, and also to everybody who showed me so much love with this whole Lisa Cabrera situation. Shout out to the sister Lisa Cabrera. Still going to show my support to her. I don't care how these sycophants come at me and try to get my channel taken down and so on and so forth. So let's jump right into what I'm here for. You guys know what it is all about. I mean, I've been consistent from day one. I told you guys what would happen with Donald Trump, and this is it. Listen, I don't have 1 million subscribers. I don't have analysts working for me. Everything that I do based on research, looking at analytics myself, understanding and reading. You have to read. I know that this sounds weird, right? I'm probably one of the biggest Trump haters, right, on YouTube. And yet it would probably shock you. I've read almost nearly every book on him. When he was running for the president of the United States, I read every book on him. Every biography, every business plan he ever had. Okay? And I didn't just read on him. I read on his family. I read on the history of his father. There's a lot of things that the mainstream media does not tell you about Donald Trump's family. Okay, the amount of dirt that they're involved in, the amount of criminal activity that family, Atlantic City, what Atlantic City used to do and be for the Trump family organization during the 80s when with the mafia. Most people don't understand. Okay, and this is what mainstream media and these political deviants they bank on. Okay, when they get on national television and they want you to vote for them, this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. They hope and they pray that they can get just a bit, just a little bit of public, and they can plant those seeds of doubt. You know, that there's a deep state, that there's somebody after. Okay, this poor rich white man. Okay. Oh, this poor rich white man who has skated throughout life off the backs of others. Okay? So it's no surprise that breaking news, there are reports, not only just reports, there are actual documented evidence that Ivanka Trump is responsible for funneling money to the Trump organization directly to the Trump family's pockets, in the tune in total of $40 million. Okay, explain that to me, Trump supporters. You guys who are so hell-bent on draining the swamp, right? Remember that was your monicum, the Make America Great Again slogan, right? He was going to go to Washington and drain the swamp, yet when he gets in and on week one, the list of people he brings in, like Scott Pruitt for the head of the EPA, who was one of the biggest swamp monsters that could ever exist. You go and look up Scott Pruitt and how he, and the money that he gets from the black market. Okay, go and look at how his taxes are set up. Okay, and then you're surprised that Scott Pruitt is, getting hit daily with the accusations of misused funds and so on and so forth. Ivanka Trump, what do you think this trade war is all about? Okay, because see, I'm going to break it down for the layman here. Not for the people who follow me, because they know that I know what I'm talking about. But let me break it down to you. Why do you think Trump is having these issues with China and trade? I'm going to tell you why he has these issues. Who gets a majority of her products made in China? Specifically, because it probably would shock you, right? You would say, well, don't all American companies get their stuff from China? Not all. But do you know who specifically out of the entire Trump family gets a majority of their products made in China? Yep, ding, 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 that would be Ivanka Trump. I wonder why Ivanka Trump on the Chinese exempt list is at the top of the list. You see, guys, when you can't go into anything blindly without doing your research. Okay, and this is of all the things that Trump has done, right? Let's just isolate Trump. Let's just focus on Ivanka. Of all the things that the Trump organization is involved in that are crooked and underhand, why do you think the Southern District of New York is so hell-bent on bringing charges against the Trump family? You want to know why? Because truth be told, and just keeping it out there, unless you guys read, okay, the Southern District of New York has been after the Trumps for years. But the problem was that they weren't allowed to gain any access to anything because of Michael Cohen. That dam cracked the day that Michael Cohen's office was raided. The day he became president of the United States, do you guys remember how all of a sudden Trump had an issue with Preet Bharara, the New York District Attorney's Office? He attacked them left and right. Why do you think his main focal point was on judges, assigning loads and loads of judges? Why his importance was to get to the Supreme Court? He needed to get these Supreme Court nominations pushed through. You think that was Mitch McConnell? That was all entirely Mitch McConnell? Or do you think that maybe Trump was thinking in the long run, he knew that after his presidency was over, his family would be tied up in so much litigation that their grandchildren and great-grandchildren were going to be feeling it? He never wanted to be president of the United States. He never wanted to be president. It was about building his financial value, his financial worth. Why do you think these emails now come to like 2 weeks before January, guys? I told you, like clockwork. And I'm not going to give mainstream media or I'm not going to give either side credit here, because this is information that I guarantee you the Republicans had. How do you think it got leaked to the news outlets today? Who do you think leaked it to the news outlets today? I told you that the Republicans are done with him. And it gets leaked right after he names Mick Mulvaney, okay? I thought Jared Kushner was going to be the low of the low. Mick Mulvaney? Mick Mulvaney. Does anybody even know what Mulvaney's track record is, what he is, what he does? Mick Mulvaney, he's not a chief of staff. Okay, if anything, he's getting a demotion based on what his job was and what his role is in the White House. Now you would say, wait, well, chief of staff is like the top job. Not when it comes to Mulvaney's position. Because when they rolled out the announcement, they said that he's going to be the acting chief of staff. They already are telling you that it's not permanent. Trump just needs somebody in that position so that the headlines don't constantly and consistently say he doesn't have a chief of staff that wants the job. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the other biggest reasons why he needed to hurry up and get a chief of staff is because John Kelly said something to Robert Mueller. John Kelly wants out. John Kelly wants out before the Democrats get in. This all stems back to this whole corrupt Trump organization. I mean, this is pretty, I don't think people understand how big this is. They have Ivanka dead to rights. There's a kill shot here. She's done. Okay, even if nothing happens to her during the impeachment trials, which are going to commence very shortly, or the resignation announcement by Trump, and then the day that he's out, the Southern District Attorney of New York is not going to allow him to travel, not going to allow him to leave this country. Trust and believe. Charges will be brought against him. Yes, and you more than likely could actually see Donald Trump in handcuffs. I didn't think I would see it, based on the fact that in this, unfortunately, in this country, when you belong to the club, those people never see the light of day in jail. But if you're noticing Donald Trump's position, right? If you're looking at it from the standpoint of all the people associated with Donald Trump, most of these people, while they're wealthy, they aren't on the in crowd. Look, this is one of the things that Donald Trump has always struggled with. And he struggled with it because of the way and who he does business with. Okay, you want to know why Donald Trump wasn't able to buy an NFL football team? Okay, something that mainstream media will never tell you. Okay, because when Donald Trump went to go and buy an NFL football team, when he had to present, bring money to buy in, because you have to buy in the National Football League. The National Football League does not play. Everything is about image, okay? Most of the people who are team owners are either oil tycoons, they are wealthy because they either owned investment firms, and nothing can be traced back to them. Okay, so even if they did things that were crooked or underhandedly, nothing can get traced back to them. Okay, Donald Trump, when he went to try to buy into the NFL, you could directly track most, if not all, of his financials to Russia and the mafia. That is why there's something that's never talked about in mainstream media. That is why the NFL said hell no to him. That's why he has an issue with the NFL. But see, this is never talked about. One of the things I always encourage people to do is to go and just read. Read. It's not hard. You take about 2.5 hours of your day if you got some free time, and just pick up a book and read. But this has been known about Donald Trump for years. Again, I'm from the East Coast, okay? I live 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away from hopping on the bridge, and then another, 30 minutes away from New York City. It's not that hard for me to have known what he was. Everyone in the tri-state, the New York area knew who he was. That's why he didn't even win his own state. Okay, everyone knew who he was over here. But he was able to pull the wool over the eyes and the masses. And this is one of the reasons why during the night of the election, I was so pissed off. I was like, I could not believe what I was seeing. That there were people in this country who honestly believed that he gave a shit about you or I or anyone else's needs other than enriching his own. Okay? And it's going to get so much worse, because I'm going to tell you right now, the Southern District of New York, the reason why they do not, their message to sentencing Cohen to 3 years is not a message to Cohen. It's a message to Donald Trump and his family. The day that you are not in office, the day you are not a public official, we are going to nail your ass to the wall. You will spend the rest of your days in jail, because this is, I did a video a few days ago, and it had where I was with Jordan in The Wolf of Wall Street, and it was meant to be funny, but there is a lot of truth to a lot of it. Do you know how many years it took for them to put a case against the real life investor that was the Wolf of Wall Street was modeled after? This has been years in the making against Trump. Okay, they have been investigating Donald Trump for so long. I told you that the day he became president, anybody who bought into his crap, that was it. Look at what has happened in Washington. The amount of people who have dropped off, fallen off. Why do you think Orrin Hatch comes out earlier today and says, I was wrong? Because Orrin Hatch got a call from his donors and his investment buddies who have their ear to the ground, who know people who have contacts in the government, in the Attorney General's office, who said, Orrin, this is what we got on him. He is going down. You might want to detach yourself from him while you're on your way out. Why do you think the Republicans are so silent and they have glue on their mouths? Because they know what's coming. I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face. The facts are the facts. If you are a Donald Trump supporter, I've said it multiple times, you need to reevaluate things. Maybe I should have been a little bit more direct with you. If you're a Donald Trump supporter today, it's the weekend. Go to your local Barnes & Nobles or bookstore. Pick up a book. Read up on Trump's financials. Read up on right now what the Trump Foundation, the organization, what they've done to donations, how they used to skim money off in the 90s. We're in Christmas. Look up what the Trump Foundation used to do when it came to skimming off the top for family donations in the 90s, for people who didn't have much. I mean, come on, guys. And then we're just talking about the criminal. We're talking about like the easy stuff here. We're talking about the financial stuff here, guys. You guys don't even want to know. Don't even want to touch. Why do you think the mainstream media never wants to touch the alleged PPT? Because there's so much more to Donald Trump. So much more. Just look up the amount of people that he's associated with who were pedophiles, who he had parties with, he attended parties with, that Ivanka was with him. Some people say, and this is, again, I can't prove this is all speculation, but a lot of people say that the real reason that Ivanka's mother left him, was because of his very odd relationship with his daughter. There's a reason you never see Ivanka's mother around the Trumps, associated with the Trumps, have you ever seen Ivanka around her mother? There's a reason, people, and people think that this is a game. Just look up. There was a report in a story several years back about Donald Trump, one of Donald Trump's closest friends, who he used to attend parties to. This man admitted on record that he, in fact, did host parties to mess with children, okay? And what he did was he cut a deal to turn in someone else. And when you look at who attended those parties, that's all you're going to say. That's all that needs to be said. There's a lot of things about Donald Trump that people don't know about. They will never know about, because this is how mainstream media works. They want to keep it classy. They want to pull their punches. They don't want to be brutal and honest about their assessment. Truth be told, if Donald Trump was brown or black, you would have heard about some horrific shit. And there's no way he would have ever made it through becoming the primary nominee for the Republican Party. In fact, he would have been, the day he would have announced his presidency, if Trump was black or brown, the day he would have announced his presidency, a week later, he'd be in handcuffs. It's your boy Quest X. I'm out. Peace.